Please take your seats. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the graduation ceremony for the Credo High School class of 2021. I'd like to recognize all who are gathered here and expressly welcome those who are joining us from beyond this space, streaming online and in spirit. Welcome parents, step-parents, brothers, sisters, grandparents, extended family and friends near and far. Welcome teachers, cohort guides, staff, board members, and Credo founders. We are a wide web gathered today to celebrate the students in this class of 2021. Thanks to our music teachers and good friends who are providing the music that weaves this ceremony together. And deep appreciation to our staff who organized this event and have been navigating the ever-changing guidelines that allow us to be together. While this gathering is certainly a joyful celebration, I want to acknowledge that there's probably a whole range of feelings stirring among us. For many of us, this is the first time we've been together in such a big group in over a year. The pandemic has kept us separate, and we're now just re-emerging. This has been an extraordinary year. Indeed, the 4 years, beginning with the Tubbs fire in 2017, and in trying to make sense of it all, I've often turned to one of my favorite teachers, Michael Meade, to help me gain perspective on what we're collectively experiencing. Meade is a poet and storyteller who draws on timeless folk tales and epics to illuminate our human experience. So with a hat tip to Meade, I'd like to offer that what we're celebrating today is a rite of passage for our young people, as well as a ritual of return for the community that collectively holds them. Woven through so many of the stories students have learned as part of their Waldorf education is the familiar story arc of separation and isolation, an ordeal that often includes a brush with death, and then a return to community. This last year, we've all lived a version of this epic story. Each one of us has a uniquely personal chapter of our own experience of isolation, of suffering, and confrontation with death. Let's take a quiet moment to quietly acknowledge the deep pools of grief and loss that flow among us. And starting with ourselves and radiating out to friends and family, the wider Credo community and the world. Just a moment of silence, please. So in this story arc, after facing the ordeal, where we gain new skills and insights, you'll remember many of the old stories include a homecoming celebration when the hero returns or when the ordeal has passed and familiar patterns of life return. There's a return to wholeness that's healing. In this story arc, our heroes are our graduates, as well as all the people who've supported them in arriving at this moment. My hope is that by allowing ourselves to ebb and flow with our feelings today, we're making room for a genuine celebration filled with a sense of renewal and joy. The prom on Friday was a great celebration that brought so much joy to everyone who created it and participated in it. I was surprised by my own sense of relief seeing all the students laughing and enjoying each other's company. I'll be carrying the memory of all of you dancing together as the culmination of this epic year. And in this spirit, I'm offering a poem by the Sufi poet Rumi. Dance when you're broken open. Dance if you've torn the bandage off. Dance in the middle of fighting. Dance in your blood. Dance when you're perfectly free. Class of 2021, you've completed your high school education and are moving into the next phase of your journey. You're embarking on new adventures that will have their own trials, ordeals, and homecomings. I have every faith that the skills you've developed will help you meet the challenges ahead. It's been my honor to watch you grow, mature, and begin to form your own unique identities. As I said on Friday, your class represents the highest level of excellence in all areas of academics, athletics, and the arts. You've accomplished so much individually while also generating a community spirit and supporting each other through very difficult times, always making the world more beautiful as you go. You are true culture creators, collectively shaping the world for the better. As you move out into the world, we proudly stand behind you. Congratulations to our graduates and all of their families and friends. Lastly, I want to highlight that this graduation ceremony is Credo's 7th graduating class, and it marks the end of Credo's 10th year. The 7-year cycles of graduates and the first decade of schooling is a big deal. Those are really poignant numbers, and I want to celebrate that. Graduates, you're now part of a growing tribe of people who've given so much to our school and made it better and better year by year, and now you'll go forth and share your gifts with the world. Congratulations, class of 2021. We have 3 student speakers today representing this class. The first student to speak today is Raj Garamella.
Wow. Hello, everyone. My name is Raj Garamella, resident troublemaker and pessimist. Clearly, the ideal candidate for graduation speaker. I'd like to thank the wonderful people of Emerald Cohort for picking me to be your speaker today. And I would like to applaud the Credo administration for having the guts not to veto that decision. Before I get too far, I would be remiss if I don't take a moment to honor our beloved classmate who is no longer with us, Amelie Locke. Even though she isn't here today, I think we can all agree that she's here in our hearts. Credo isn't a school that's easy to just end up at by accident. We all came for different reasons. Some were lifelong Waldorf students continuing on our current trajectory. Some followed the footsteps of siblings or didn't jive well with other schools. Some were allured by the music or arts programs or the promise of learning Arabic. Despite our differing reasons to come here, we're all Griffins because we have one thing in common. We, or our parents, prefer Credo over the alternative options. We all made the intentional choice to be here. Does everyone remember going surfing on the sophomore adventure learning trip? The relatively small waves could pull us wherever it wished and flip us over with ease. When I let the ocean decide my path, I found myself zigzagging along the coast. But when I put my mind to it and chose where I wanted to go, I was able to hop up, plant my feet, and ride. Unfortunately, surfing is not an accurate representation of life. When it came to the coronavirus, no amount of intentionality or determination could have meaningfully improved our situation. Note that this statement applies to high school students and not a presidential administration. I think our good friend Dickens summarizes our senior year pretty well when he says, in medias res, it was the worst of times. As you spread your Griffin wings, I implore you to maintain your intentionality. It's tempting to go with the flow, and there's nothing wrong with following life's momentum, but make sure that it's on purpose. Remember, when things get scary, hop up, plant your feet, and ride, even if it means you could fall. Whatever future you have planned, and wherever you may go in pursuit of it, remember what you learned in your time at Credo. Remember how far you've come as a person. Remember the perseverance you demonstrated throughout the pandemic, the fear you faced at the poetry slam, and the highly disciplined schedule you have from your intense studying that you did every day without fail. These moments and lessons, among countless others, defined my high school years because they molded me into the person I am today. To my fellow classmates, it's been one real experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, except more money. Congratulations, and let's make some noise for the class of 2021. Do I announce the speaker? Ty? Do I announce it? Do I announce it? Speaking next is Kai Guthrie.
Oops, a little windy up here. Got to get the speech down. Can y'all hear me at the back? This speech was hard for me to write. Really hard. And, it would be an effective rhetorical tactic to say that the reason I had a hard time with it was because of graduation and what it symbolizes. To be honest, I think that perhaps my struggles are better attributed to laziness and a pandemic-honed procrastination tendencies. But that said, we are graduating now, and it is pretty wild. It feels like a pretty big deal. Some of us have counted down to this day for ages. Some of us are terrified to head out into the larger world. And like many of us, I'm somewhere in between. Let's look back at what it's been like to be a member of this class for the past 4 years. Freshman year, everything was new. New commutes, new teachers, new sports teams, new friends, new expectations. As someone who didn't go to a Waldorf middle school, I personally had to learn how to draw. We were thrown right into the deep end with our adventure learning trips to the mountains, and we made it through, somewhat bonded as intended. By sophomore year, we understood how things worked a little better. The structure of main lesson blocks made more sense. Track classes, we got those too. We were finding deeper friendships and exploring new sides of ourselves. Junior year came, for me at least before I knew it, and we realized that being a cool upperclassman doesn't mean that you feel any older or cooler, just that everyone else feels young. Senior year was tough, and it kind of flew by. Zoomed by, in fact. Cheers, Dad. It was not what anyone had expected or hoped. And it was lonely and difficult for a lot of us. But we were humbled by the world, and sometimes that isn't the worst thing, to be humbled, and we made it through. Like life, Credo was far from perfect, but this school has a soul about it. You know, it's hard to capture. There's just like the sound of music coming from the music room at lunch, and just the acceptance and warmth that people have for each other, the laughter as friends greet. There's something special about this. Perhaps it was just the smell of the Spice Factory. I think that sometimes. Even so, you know, one whiff of that, whatever spice that was, I never figured it out, brings back memories of building mousetrap cars or making printmaking in the art wing. I'm so grateful for my family, for supporting me in everything throughout high school and throughout my whole life. I love you so much. I'm grateful to the adults of Credo and the teachers for guiding me and supporting me. And most of all, right now, I'm feeling so grateful for all of you for having known me and shared fun times and tough times with me and just been here and been family, been a family. Class of 2021, we have been growing together for 4 years now. Now, the child is picking the dandelion and blowing on it, and we are heading every different way, carried by the wind, out, into the world. This is just the end of our first chapter. I love you all, and I know how far we will all go. Thank you. And our third and final student speaker is Madeline Knight.
It's been a busy ooh, sorry guys. There we go. Ooh, maybe not. Ish. Is that okay? Ish. It's been a busy last 6 weeks fitting in senior year, so I hope you guys don't mind if I write a couple thank you notes. Thank you, senior class, for having me do one more assignment after all the assignments were due. Thank you, blacksmithing. I still smell you in my closet. To Zoom, you know what you did. Thank you, 2020. Or not, I'll write that one later. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for telling me all your wonderful stories about your exciting senior year. Who knew that zombie apocalypse movies might have been a little bit more relevant? So, thank you, zombie apocalypse movies. Thank you for gym closures for helping me find the joy in planking with my family and cats. Thank you, Dad, for being a rule follower, and my mom for being a rule breaker. Thank you to my sister for having someone else to talk to instead of my parents. And thank you to all the other parents for helping us not miss our last senior year. Thank you to faculty for making this work. I know it wasn't easy for anyone, but the teachers and staff put in the work to make a complete year. Let's hope that it can soon return to resembling what we all enjoy about school. Thank you, diploma, or soon-to-be diploma, for reminding me that I am not still a junior. And Mom and Dad, for your espresso machine. Looking at it now with having it just a little walk away, I'm definitely going to need one of those. And another sincere thank you to College Board for waiving the SATs. Thank you, 2020 and 2021. I was never more aware of the changes that need to happen in our world. I learned to reach out for others and to be there for people who need us. You taught me to expect the unexpected. It is in this gray space where we have some of our most inspired ideas. As a class, we are more prepared than any other generation to adapt, pivot, and improve. Thank you.
We have an amazing group of young people. And you can see in their remarks, in the way that they carry themselves, the incredible life forces that they have. And as Raj spoke earlier, we're missing one person. And that person carried an incredible amount of artistry, of academic success, of vibrant young person energy that was so friendly and warm and inviting to others. And it's a very huge gap to not have her presence here. And it's also something that's daunting for young people. Young people so full of a kind of omnipotence and a resolve that they will get over anything. And yet we see in our backdrop fires, the pandemic, and a tragic accident that took away Amelie Malherbe Locke. It's noteworthy that there is a tremendous amount of grief that people have experienced over this past 16 months or so. And when we were teaching the last block of the senior year, human development, we took an opportunity to talk about grief and to use a little bit of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's paradigm about it. And although this is not something that's sequential or linear, there are these stages that we all go through in grief. The stage of denial, of anger, of bargaining. No, can I have it differently? Of depression. And after cycling through that many, many times, we hope to come to a place of acceptance. And it is in that gesture of acceptance that we would like to offer something to the parents of Amelie Locke. Now, Friday, Francesca spoke to the entire student body and brought wonderful scholarship gifts that were received by Audrey Grover, by Stella Sherburne, and by Donnie Deshawn de Juvencourt. And that kind of gesture is what we're wanting all of us to experience, a sense of how to celebrate and how to move forward into the future with the impulses that we've come to know out of the depth of our experience. So as a measure of love, we'd like to extend to both Francesca and Morgan a few gifts that will be carried by the student speakers. On the one hand, we have a yearbook that has been signed by the seniors. And we hope that they share their wisdom with you and with all of us. There's also an honorary diploma. And this diploma would be filled with further recognition because Amelie attained a high level of success. Graduation with distinction from Credo, Golden State Seal of Merit Award, and really, we miss you. We really miss you, Amelie. And I know that these are just tokens, but please take them in the spirit of moving some great soul forward into the future. I'd like to ask Raj and Kai and Maddie to come up and to have this bouquet for the family. We'll grab a rose for Amelie and this diploma and yearbook. And we will be having these given to Francesca and Morgan with deep thanks and love.
Okay, last speech. And this is floppy. So, when I received your generous invitation to speak to you today, I was on a driving trip with my kids and my daughter. See if I can adjust it. Oh, thank you. That's so pro. Thanks. That's a little better. That's much better. Oh, yeah, that's nice. But my daughter, she saw me get all fluttery and nervous, and she's like, Mom, don't worry, I got you. You just say this. These 4 years have sucked. It's been full of pain and loss. Just get out of here. And I was like, eh. My son from the back, he was like, yes, Mom, that's great. Go with that because it's short, unlike everything else that comes out of your mouth. And so I'm going to try to honor my daughter a little bit, but my son's going to be a bit disappointed. So, class of 2021, these past 4 years have been, perhaps above all, an education in loss, personal, local, and global. It's a cliche, of course, to spin pain into beneficial growth, but just because something is cliche doesn't mean that it's not true. It's not a truth worth embracing. The losses you have all endured these past 4 years, Tubbs and the subsequent fall fires, COVID, Amelie. These won't ever go away for you, and while I hope future losses won't be so large and so stacked one right on top of the other, the reality is that there will be more losses to come, many. Because that's the thing, and this might sound like I'm a glass half empty sort of person, but what is life if not a story of consistent loss? Straight out of the gate, we lose the soft darkness and constant cuddle of the womb for the harsh elements of the lonely world. The hands and arms that held us upright, that fed us and cleaned us and seemed inextricable from our own bodies, hands that are probably right next to you here today. Suddenly we see that they don't belong to us. They aren't ours after all. They belong to another. Then we lose our cribs for big kid beds with precipices. We lose toys and teeth. We lose friends. We lose grandparents. We lose money. We lose confidence. We lose our way. It's inevitable. But it's what we do with loss, both real and imagined, that shapes who we are, who we become. And one thing I've noticed, the most problematic part of this isn't the loss itself nor the aftermath. Look at you. You've all suffered huge losses, and yet here you are, sitting, sweating, and looking fabulous in your polyester robes, with your lives stretched out in front of you like some vast, unexplored country. The most problematic part of most loss isn't the reality of it, but the fear of it, the anticipation of it. Your losses have been painful, but you're here. These losses arrived without warning. You couldn't anticipate them. They fell upon you, and you weathered them. You persevered. You're here. You've been forced to wrestle with the existential, and you being here today is a victory. It's the fear of a different kind of loss that I'm hoping to unpack now, a murkier fear, one that's buried in compulsion, in perfectionism and posturing and performance. This fear isn't concerning our fragile physical selves, but our internal selves. It's the fear that has us checking our likes on social media. It's FOMO. It's comparison games. It's the fear that leads us into desperate contortions so that we might win the approval of others and not be thrust into the abyss of social irrelevance and ostracization. It's the fear of losing social capital. And this fear, at best, nudges us into interesting scientific and cultural discoveries, and at worst, perpetuates exploitation, injustice, and cruelty. Most of the time, though, it just makes us super anxious and sad and ashamed. In senior English, we did some reflective writing where you looked back on your younger selves, and many of you wrote about junior high as a time when you moved around in a constant fog of anxiety and shame. I'm not cool enough. My body's wrong. My clothes are wrong. My skin is wrong. My teeth, my nose, my brain. I'm not enough, or I'm too much. You wrote about those fickle fears of inadequacy, fears of humiliation that led you to measure yourselves against others. Why does everyone else seem to have more? More friends, more fun, more love? Am I losing while others are winning? I want to believe that as we age out of adolescence, we become more expansive and generous human beings who are less plagued by those fears, that we're motivated more by compassion than competition. But just take a look at the political and social landscape of this country during the bulk of your high school careers. From the highest office on down, there's substantial evidence to suggest that our society can be perceived as just one huge junior high school. We simply get more deft at hiding our fears of losing behind institutions and ideologies as we age. The point of this particular type of speech, from what I can gather, is to serve up a little takeaway life lesson, and mine is this: be suspicious of your junior high fears, as they are the ones leading to behaviors that you might most regret. Whenever I've let fickle fears around building and maintaining social status dictate what I do, the times I didn't tell someone how I really felt because I was afraid they'd reject me, the times I didn't stand up for someone who'd been treated like crap, the times I didn't fess up to my own stupidity and carelessness, and there are lots of those, the thousands of other fraidy cat actions and inactions, that's where my regret lives. And nearly every time I've thrust aside those fears of losing social capital, nearly every time I've risked being a chump, risked being a loser, the times I've chosen inconvenient integrity over convenient compromise, the times I've stepped out of conventionality in favor of authenticity, I've been glad for it. What I hope for you is that the authentic loss of these years reminds you of what's solid in you. So that fear of junior high loss, it won't hold as much sway. There is a you inside of you. It's the you, that capital S self that Shakespeare's Polonius and Lizzo remind us to be true to and to love. And this is the part where I'm like, kind of rolling my eyes because it's just so banal. It's like, really, Miss Bouquet? Love myself? That's the message? But, setting that aside, there is this Groundhog Day junior high that we're trapped in, and it's called the modern world. And it markets the promise of deeper fulfillment, but it's outside in rather than inside out. Buy this, and you'll be more lovable to others, which will make it easier for you to love yourself, which will make you more lovable to others, which will make it easier to love yourself, and around and around. So click here, post here. It's a commerce of approval that approximates community but doesn't deliver. To not participate is to be invisible, is to be alone, and that's the biggest, baddest junior high fear of all, to be alone. So what if instead we just own being losers? Let's be losers, y'all. Lose your fears, lose at the junior high game, lose with intention. Having slogged through these 4 years, I saw each of you show up this week as unique gems. Ruby cohort, sitting in that janky circle. Each of you popped with a marvelous distinction. You were unabashedly yourselves. Emerald and Sapphire, undoubtedly your circles were better organized, but you know what? Equally, you are made up of distinct gems. And your losses, like your gemstone namesakes, were metamorphic. Through fires and heat, through pressures of grief, through enforced isolation, you've become so beautiful. Hold on to that, keep losing, and now, thank you, you're loved. We're gonna listen to some tunes before a little pomp and circumstance, I believe. Thank you.
And now the moment that we've all been waiting for, the conclusion. It's interesting, commencement means start, but we're going to end. I am going to read the names alphabetically of all of the graduates. We have Ms. Achman Collins, our executive director, who is going to be giving faux diplomas, which will be mailed out. The real ones, the officials, will be mailed out in another couple of weeks. And we have the cohort guides who will be giving roses as a last bequeathment of love to each of them. And our first Dylan Anacleto Black. Samwise Austin. Zachary Baker. He's that. Jeremiah Becker. Aiden Berezny. Molly Bingham. Nathan Bojanowski. James Bullock. Orion Burnham Pullman. Miles Byrne. Casey Aiden. I'm sorry. Aiden Casey. See? Maya Chase. Megan Kresge. Daniel Deshawn de Juvencourt. Daniel De Leon. Marcos Escalera. Now let's Ronan Felton Priestner. Jonathan Fleischman. Olive. Oops. Oh, no, Amo Luna Freeman. Oliver French. Juan Galeana. Rajesh Garamella. Wait. Yeah, look. Dylan Giroux. Kaya Green. America Greenfield Peterson. Audrey Grover. Kai Guthrie. Judah Halferty. Sierra Harris. Kira Hernandez. Olivia Horn. Dylan Hupp. Sarah Karkle. Micah Keach. Wyatt Kinney. Madeline Knight. Abigail Noble. Ani Ladd. Okay. Maya Lindstedt. Stella Little. Amelie Locke. Kobe Lopez Larson. Whoops. Nathan Lukash. James McCarthy. Jack McDonald Doxey. Aiden McMains. Felix Militante. Beata Niedhofer. Lola Nelson. Hiroya Nishikura. August O'Connell. Reiko O'Reilly. Sekai Otterson. Jenna Overmere. Tommy Paquette. Ray Parker. Toby Petrus. Aurora Quirt. Jacob Rabow. Jaden Ripple. Abigail Rogie. Benjamin Rousseau. Silas Rowan Herzog. Denali Reuter. Here we go. Mariona Saswe Mangelsdorf. Kiani Schmidt. Reese Schreier. Alexandra Schroth. Satchel Seveno. Riella Schaefer. Stella Sherburne. Zachary Silvera. Samantha Simmons. Kirsty Smith. Sahaja Smith. Avital Stopek. Raven Teague. Olivia Templeton. Alexandra Unger. Nayeli Vargas. Maya Weigel Murphy. Theo Verdmuller von Elg. Maggie Woodall. Lucas Wynn. Katrina Yardley. And Michael Zai. Yeah, go ahead.
Do the rise? What do
The throwing of the hats?
well, first the turning of the tassel, right?
Yeah. Well done.
All right. Will our graduates please rise? And you may turn your tassel, showing your transition from students to graduates. And congratulations to the class of 2021. Woo-hoo! Yes, throw 'em up. All right. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here to celebrate this wonderful occasion with us. And students, you know how, or graduates, excuse me, you'll process out through our faculty who are gathered in the back and have a wonderful afternoon and evening of celebration.